Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. We know that there's a division between the Neo bulls and the bears, and the main issue is, in my opinion, regarding the number of deliveries. Neo is simply struggling to keep up the pace at the rate that they simply need in order to be profitable and be out of the danger zone. The problem right now is that we get some weeks where the weekly insurance numbers, which always releases on Tuesdays, are quite good. Then you get your hopes up, and then there's a few weeks where they don't deliver, and the result of that is potentially this scenario here where look at the white bars, which are the 2025 numbers. Currently the expected delivery numbers for 2025, according to my model, if we have a huge increase by the second half of this year, starting from July and onwards, like we had essentially last year in the blue bars, we would be at around 346,000 deliveries. Again, that is well below the target that the management gave just a couple of months ago, 3-4 months ago. So the traditional issue with Neo, where they promise, they overpromise and underdeliver, like substantially underdeliver. That has always been an issue with Neo. But look at the deliveries right now, and I think it just won't cut it. Like if you go to the weekly insurance numbers, right? Sure, if you compare Neo and also put in Xpeng, compare them to Tesla like I always do, the white bars are Neo and Xpeng on this specific one, and the red is Tesla, and they're outselling Tesla most of the week. So there are positives, and there's other positives for Neo. For example, look at this one, like the Neo World model really is really capable. There is this example where someone has driven around 250 kilometers without any essentially interventions from the driver. Now, how true is this? We don't know. I'll choose to believe this. I don't think this is something that people lie about, not at least in this instance. I think the Neo self-driving ADAS system is very capable, at least compared to a lot of the other peers. Like everyone talks about Tesla FSD, but I think Neo and Xpeng are shown that they have really capable self-driving service. Also, the ET9 achieved water safety, exceeding China's national safety standard by more than 6 times. Okay, again, really nice to see, but like who cares? Like I know that this is important. This tells about the engineering behind the cars. No one has ever doubted Neo's engineering, right? We all know that this is one of the best engineered cars out there, especially in the Chinese market. Are really specifically really good, right? But the problem is, at the end of the day, people care about number of cars sold. Now you might argue, but the ET9 is a really expensive one, the margins is much higher, sure. But at the end of the day, the company is losing tons of money, right? And that is the bottom line. They are simply not making enough revenue, and they're not able to increase their sales, because anytime they try to increase their sales, they have to cut the price because the competition is so high. And the only way for this company to be a serious company, the only way for this company to stop being like a joke on the stock market, right? I mean, you could argue, why isn't any other company this bad, right? You have Xpeng. Look at Xpeng over the past, I don't know, like 1 year, right? They're up 160%. Same market, similar product. Sure, they're selling at lower average sales price, but I mean, a lot of the extreme bulls talk about, yeah, but you cannot compare Xpeng to Neo because Xpeng is much cheaper. But at the end of the day, somehow they are making a much more sensible business model than Neo is doing, right? Despite them selling cars at much lower sales price. Now, quickly looking at some other positives, the lithium carbonate price still in this very low. So, and remember, if you're new to this, just zoom out. The lithium carbonate price kind of hiked in a couple of years ago in 22 and 23, and we are now in very low numbers. That's really good. Then quickly looking at the swap information account on Twitter, you can see that the last data 4 hours ago, he says that they had around 89,000 daily swaps per day, and that is around 25 swaps per station. So that 89,000 is like across the entire fleet for one full day, but the 25 number is the 25 swaps per station across the entire fleet, and that is like not good enough. They're simply not even meeting their own standard of 60 average swaps per station in order to be break even. Granted, that number is a couple of years old. I've mentioned this many times before. Maybe that number is now 50, 45. We don't know, because the scale of Neo is larger. Again, the lithium carbonate price has been going down. I think the scalability of the business is to some degree should show up in the swap infrastructure. So do I believe that old 60 number needed to become break even? No, I think that's lower. How much lower? I don't know. But again, there are some minor positives, right? Everywhere you look. But no matter how you look at it, and anywhere you also look, there's a lot of negatives. Again, let's go back to the Q1 earnings, right? They cut the research and development from 500 million in Q4 to 438. Very nice, 12% decrease quarter over quarter. The SG&A business, the SG&A budget went also down 9%, right? They're also talking about a target that they will cut it, the research development and the SG&A, and maybe they're going to be at 960 million. Sure. But even if they do that, they're still going to lose anywhere between 600 to 450 million every single quarter, right? So even with these huge reductions in operating expenses, they still need to do something more. So just cutting operating expenses by a substantial amount is not cut it. They need to do even more. And the more is in this case selling more costs, right? And be honest with yourself. How many times over the past 2 or 3 years have you not heard NIO management talking about this specific model, be it ET5, ET5 Touring, ET7? They were supposed to selling 5,000 cars a week or 10, 20,000 a month. Then it was the Onvo, first the Onvo L60 and, Firefly and all of these kind of different things that they mentioned. They, a couple of years ago, mentioned that they would beef up their sales business in order to be averaging 30,000 cars a month. And that is probably 2 years ago now, right? And NIO is still not averaging 30,000 cars. In fact, the only time they managed to sell more than 30,000 cars was in December of last year. So that kind of vision that they mentioned, we are going to beef up our sales team in order to sell 30,000 cars a month. That's probably, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but it's probably at the very least year and a half old, right? And since that comment from the management, they managed to sell 30,000 cars one single time out of 20 to 30 opportunities, 20 to 30 months, right? They managed to do that once. And now they have 15 models or so, around 12 to 15 models, 3 different brands. They're scaling up in the number of models and they're still stuck, at around 20 to 25,000 sales at the best. And this is just a sad reality. And the worst part of all of this is that, again, I mentioned this time and time again, the problem is not the rate of increase. NIO has gone from selling 43,000 cars in 2020 during the pandemic. They more than double it in 2021 to 91,000. Then again, a healthy increase from 90 to around 120,000 in 22. Also another healthy increase from 122,000 to 160,000. And then last year, they did yet another healthy increase from 160 to 220. So the problem is not the rate of increase. Any other car brand outside China, these numbers would be utterly insane, almost unachievable if you would have tell someone that in 2020 a car manufacturer sells 40,000 cars or so, and in 2025 they're on the way to do 350,000 cars, almost 10x, right? That would people would laugh at you, are you crazy? No one would believe you. The problem is they also at the same time increase their cost. They're inefficient. Again, I've got so many criticism in the comment section about me not liking NIO expanding their battery swap infrastructure, right? And my whole criticism has always been the newest swap stations. They can do 480 swaps at the maximum capacity for a full day, and you're telling me on average you have 25 swaps per station per day. So what is the amount? What is the reason why they need to have this aggressive build-up of the swap infrastructure? Now, I could understand it. To be honest, I would still not understand it. But if this was a money-making company, or at least not risking shareholder value in terms of dilution because they're burning so much money, if there was a company that even making break-even or just barely making some money, maybe I would understand the reason why, you're building up your swap infrastructure ahead of demand. But in a company that loses money left, right, and center, right? Why do you risk even more? I know, who am I to criticize the management? But honestly, I'm not alone. There's so many people. This management has utterly lost it. They show so much shareholder value. I think the only way to save this company, I mean, the management has shown that they are incapable of saving a company. The only way to save this company is the stockholders and the fans of NEO starting to really be honest with themselves and criticize the management for real. Like, stop believe their nonsense. Like, if tomorrow William Lee comes out and sell NEO is gonna sell like, I don't know, 40,000 cars a month, don't trust him. Let him show the facts first. Like, again, this is just a little bit of a ranting, but also it's like essentially me caring about my followers and also people that are investing in NEO. Don't be fooled by this management. I mean, the stock price is like utterly like just shambolic. Like, look at this. This company is at $3.5 market cap of 7.7 billion US dollar. Whereas you also at the same time, let's look at Xpeng, right? Xpeng market cap 18 billion, more than 2x, like 2.5 times, right? And this is the so-called Xpeng that a lot of you say, oh, their quality is not as good and the cars are cheaper, sure. But at the end of the day, all business is all about making shareholder value and making money, right? And NEO is currently not only is not making that, they're actually moving at full speed on the other direction. So anyways, this was just my few cents on NEO stock. It's just, the traditional same thing happening. Tomorrow is going to be the next weekly insurance registration numbers for China. I would still think that NEO will come in at let's say 4 to 6,000. We don't know. Let's say hopefully 4 to 6,000. Hopefully even more than that. But that would still not be nowhere near that numbers that are required. I mean, in order for NEO to be truly profitable, they need to become like, I don't know, like 7,000 at the bare minimum every single week, probably even more, in order to be profitable and a healthy company in the future. And currently they're nowhere near that on average. And yeah, that's gonna do it for today. Please like and subscribe, and comment in the comment section about your ideas am I too negative, or is it just the reality that's catching up with the management? So anyways, see you in the next one.